So this is why we conducted the first and the very first, and I'm showing the initial results of this study of the infrared color imaging. You know that, as Edward showed you, it's very useful, and the image you can have is fantastic when you are going therapeutic endoscopy. That is the third space, that could be from POEM to ESD, wherever in the GI tract, because it's enhancing the contrast, the color contrast. And it's helpful not only in preventing the bleeding, because if you recognize the vessel much better, then you can make a good hemostasis, but also, as Edward was showing, in case of bleeding. And basically, this is the contrast you can achieve. See the differences when you look at the white light and the ACI. The blue is more blue, let's say. It means that I'm more able, is enhancing the submucosa, but also the vessels and the lesion itself. Edward already said was the wavelength the system is working on. Basically, the fact is that there are two main wavelengths. That is the infrared and the blue, so we're missing the violet, but because the violet is superficial, and this is why we are able to see deeper in the layers and recognize vessels. I also have some very short video, and I will switch on and off between white light and ACI to let you see the difference. Here we are with white light, so still with white light is very nice how we can see with the blue the submucosa, the vessels, and the muscle. But see, as soon as I shift to ACI, everything is more clearer to everybody. And I will try to show you the results that this is true not only for expert, so means somebody who already knows the planes and already should know where to cut and when not to cut, but also for non-expert. Let's move to another very short video, because the more we can fix in our mind this type of images, then the more that we can use in our clinical practice, because this is really a game changer. And once you are in the submucosa, this type of technology will really help you in making the difference for your patient, because finally your procedure will be faster, but faster for patient means safer, and the outcomes, I don't have data still is an impression also from my side, but it means doing the best for our patient. Last video, and even here, as Edward, I have a bleeding. See these very big vessels. We are already on ACI.
Can you stop on it just 1 second? Who is going to use a coagrasper now? Please raise the hand.
And who's going to use the bipolar forceps? Hemostat? Nobody. Oh my God, I'll have to tell.
Any comment on this vessel? So in the past we were very scared about it, no? And now it's a completely different scenario, no?
Yeah, I think we really made a revolution also because, as you can see, we were even working under saline, so this type of methodology really changed our practice. Let me see if I'm able to play it again. So yes, I was not using any devices differently from the knife I was using for dissecting, but sometimes the vessels are still big, so you still can face an intraprocedural bleeding. So even here, the embryo, the ACI, because everything is more orange, so it's not so impactful, and you can still use the ACI to have a good therapeutic hemostasis in this case. It's not a prophylactic hemostasis. And you keep on dissecting. Again, the comparison with white light and ACI now, it's very clear. But let's move to the study, because this is the topic and the main aim of my presentation. So what we've done is, in a single center in Humanitas, we have this prospective observational study, and we have 20 people. 10 was defined trainees, so non-expert, and 10 was expert, to simply watch.
They put me under trainees.
Sure. Even me.
Well, you are, because you're hardly doing any procedures, you're just traveling.
I know.
Okay. And we asked them to do what you did tonight. So just simply looking at videos and comparison white light versus ACI. And for sure, we need a scale. So we used the Likert scale scores from 0 to 10 to see the visualization of three main things. That was the submucosal vessel, the muscle layers, and finally, the submucosal layers. So it's three different things. And let's go to the results. And let's start with the submucosal vessel, because we were addressing the hemostasis topic, prophylactic and therapeutic. So you have the yellow, that is non-expert with white light, and then see the non-expert with ACI. It means that ACI significantly improves submucosal vessel visualization for non-expert, and this was significant. But also, ACI significantly enhances performance also in the expert, and non-expert with ACI outperform expert with white light. So this is important also for training. If we let our trainees to be safer and to have a technology that allows you to recognize the vessels, it means to change the outcome of the patient. Is it true only for submucosal layers? Let's focus on muscle layer. So here, as you can see from the graphic, ACI markedly improved muscle layer identification for non-expert, but also significantly enhances visualization even for expert. On the same time, expert with white light still perform better than non-expert with ACI, so the muscle is something different from submucosa and vessels. What does it mean in clinical practice? That we should and we could avoid perforation. That is still one of the major concerns for ESD. So faster and safer. And trying to have all together for both and for the three submucosal vessels, submucosal layers, and muscle layers, even with expert and non-expert, ACI is performing better than white light. And in particular, ACI non-expert is better than white light in expert. Yeah, for the submucosal layers, it's quite the same. ACI for non-expert is not better than expert. So for mucosal layers still, we are ongoing and we need to understand, but for sure, this new technology will make a revolution also in the therapeutic endoscopy. Thank you.
So before we open for question, I've got one serious concern here. I think ACI is democratizing the skill set, and I just wonder what will be the value of experts like this in the future. If non-experts are going to perform as well as experts like him, he will have no value.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Okay, let's welcome ESG President, Professor Cesare Hassan. You have to make a question. You have to make a question. Make a question, please, Cesare. No, don't go there, because you cannot leave up to that. We can hear you. So you see when you become president? Yeah?
How things happen.
Yeah.
That's what experts will do in the future from here to there. That will be the only role.
I like numbers, okay. So numbers convince me. So my question is very simple. Is white light dead? Should we do all the procedure with ACI? Are we really making a big step ahead? Or is ACI something that you only partially use during the procedure according to the momentaneous feeling?
So in my vision, when you are in the submucosa, because it's working in the contrast with the submucosa, yes, go for ACI for all the procedures. When you are evaluating the lesion, when you are in the second space, that is the luminous space, you don't need it because you don't need that type of contrast. You don't have the blue. So it's working, as Edward was saying, contrasting the blue because it's the opposite of the orange. So in the submucosa, for sure, I will go for it for all the procedure.
One more point comes to my mind based on what Professor Yahagi said, then Ed said, you said. Looks like ACI is a submucosal endoscopy mode. So although Fuji started with creating a mode to recognize vessel and bleed control, but suddenly we have found a completely new use for it in submucosal endoscopy to identify where muscle is, where submucosa is. So maybe we should think about a new nomenclature, new use for this.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's so useful that it will really change the things, and we are creating something specifically for third space and for submucosa. It's like submucosa technology.
Okay, very nice. Any other question? We have 1 minute left.
I think everybody's so stunned and they are looking forward to the bar that I've opened for everyone. So,
Okay. Having said that, I leave it to Pradeep. I want to congratulate the speakers and thank all of you for staying with us for long.